You ever wonder how your credit card number got stolen? You didn't use it on a sketchy dark web marketplace. You checked the gas station card reader for extra parts, even gave it a little tug. You did everything right, so what happened? You were shopping on a perfectly legitimate website. You typed in your card, you hit pay, and the transaction went through. No warning signs, no security alerts. But what you didn't know is that a ghost in the machine, a simple snippet of JavaScript, just posted all of that information you gave to the site, including your card details, right into a Telegram chat. These threat actors inject malicious JavaScript directly into a retailer's checkout page, skimming your data in real time. The level of stealth can be staggering. Modern skimmer software disguises itself to look like mundane, trusted code like Google Tag Manager scripts or analytics trackers. Some attackers even hide their payloads inside the EXIF metadata of harmless-looking image files on the page to bypass detection and then pull the payload out on the other side to execute it. But you need to see it from the inside out to really get it. So today, we're going to show you a basic, easy-to-understand skimmer injected into a real, live, compromised e-commerce website. And then we're going to identify exactly who put it there. Welcome to Behind the Surface. Magecart isn't a single hacker group. It's not a single attack. It's an umbrella term coined by researchers about 10 years ago when a surge of groups started using this technique against the Magento platform. It was considered sophisticated. These attacks got companies like British Airways, Ticketmaster.
Hold on. The British Airways attackers found plain text domain admin creds and used them to add this JavaScript into one of the libraries. Everyone loves to use the word sophisticated when they get hit, but I've seen more sophisticated games of rock, paper, scissors.
I have already calculated your next move. Your algorithms won't save you next time.
Guys get compromised through vulnerabilities, plugins, could be phishing, any method of getting admin access to the panel. Then you just sneak in that code. Some of the ways they hide the code can be pretty creative, like this approach recently where they hid the code in an image metadata. But at the end of the day, the concept is simple. Use JavaScript to pull what the user types in the fields on the checkout page and send them somewhere the attacker can read them.
Back in the 90s, e-commerce boomed, and so did credit card fraud. Everyone came up with their own standards, and that became a mess. So in 2004, the industry came up with PCI DSS, the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, a global data security standard that specifies how merchants and other entities store, process, and transmit payment card data.
And that finally ended credit card fraud.
No. The PCI DSS has evolved as credit card fraud has evolved.
Compliance with PCI DSS, payment card industry requirements, means monitoring all scripts that run on the checkout page. But hey, compliance can be tough for some companies to navigate. We'll pull up the compromised e-commerce site. This is a company that sells products intended for corporate compliance. Just so we're clear, this episode wasn't posted until after this was patched. In case you're wondering why you don't see it currently. We need to add some stuff to the shopping cart to trigger the payment logic on the checkout page. Let's grab some Alaska labor law posters, latest season, exciting stuff. All right, check out. Here's the page where you type your credit card number, so this is exactly where the skimmer should live. Let's pull up the page source. This site is running Magento, a very popular e-commerce platform around for a lot of years and historically the #1 target for digital cart skimmers. It's why attacks like this are broadly called Magecart, and groups that use the attack are sometimes called Magecart. But despite the fancy name, these skimmers are simple enough that you don't need a massive criminal syndicate to pull it off. It's not ransomware. You just need one single operator really who can get admin access to the site either through an exploit or just buying it on a market. Okay, look at this. Emojis and completely weird formatted junk right here in the source. This doesn't fit. This doesn't belong. Let's walk through what we're looking at. The script calls itself s.js v11. I assume that's the name of the skimmer framework or the code, but I haven't run across this specific one before. Or maybe S stands for the product name, or maybe S just stands for skimmer. Look right here, a hard-coded Telegram bot token and a chat ID. That's beautiful. It's exactly what we want. We know exactly how it exfiltrates the stolen data now, and we're going to follow up on that in a minute. If you look at the logic of the code, it pulls all the variables present in the checkout and the browser data, builds a nicely formatted message to beam right back to a Telegram chat. Name, billing address, card number, CVV, company, cart ID, IP address, user agent, everything. The customer's IP address is a crucial piece of real estate for these fraudsters these days. If you steal a credit card being used in Montana and try to drop a charge on it from Romania, that's going to trigger a fraud alert. So fraudsters will feed this data into an Antidetect browser or simply a residential proxy network to grab an IP in the same zip code, maybe even the same ISP in that zip code as the real card holder, and match their user agent string. That reduces the fraud risk, so they're more likely to have a successful checkout. The skimmer architecture itself is simple. Just grab those variables, build the string, and hit the Telegram API using that embedded bot token. So let's grab that token and do a bit of active reconnaissance. We'll start by hitting Telegram's Get Me API endpoint to find out who the bot is. The bot's username comes back as Magento log bot. That makes sense. It just grabs the Magento logs and sends them to the bot. The response shows can read all group messages as false. Disappointing, but that's what we usually see. That's typical for a setup like this. We can hit get updates. If there had been stolen data sitting in the bot's cache, it would show up here, but it's empty. That's also what we usually expect. The data is either being streamed via webhook or the operator is running a persistent script on their end that continuously pulls the bot's data and that empties the cache. Let's check for a webhook. We'll hit get webhook info endpoint on the Telegram API. No URL string, that means it's not configured to use a webhook. Well, that means the operator's actively pulling the data down in real time to their own machine using their Telegram account. Remember, we harvested the chat ID from the source code earlier. Let's use that alongside the token on the chat channel receiving the card details. Okay, your net, interesting handle. Let's see who's running it by hitting get chat administrators. Since there's no admins listed, that's a small chat. How small? Well, we can check get chat members count. It's just 2. The bot itself is a member, and then the other is your net. Let's take a look at your net. Here they are. So what do they do with that credit card information? Well, usually they sell it, but then what does their customer do with it? One method of fraud that's blown up big over the past several years is triangulation fraud. How this works is the fraudster buys the stolen card details. They advertise products on sale on markets, on eBay, could be Walmart, third-party seller, Etsy, anywhere you can sell products. Advertise something, a piece of furniture, food, a grill, whatever people are buying, anything. And then when a customer buys this item, the fraudster, they don't have the item, they're far away, but they go to a real merchant's website and use the stolen card data to buy the item with their customer's address as the shipping address. So the eBay customer pays them, and they use the fraudulent card data to ship the item from the retailer to the eBay customer. eBay customer gets the item, fraudster gets the money. Often this doesn't get noticed, although with big enough dollars, or if it happens repeatedly to the same address, that can draw police attention. It can get you banned by retailers. So it's risky even if you don't know you're part of triangulation fraud.
Which is most of the time. Usually the customer is not even aware they're involved in triangulation fraud. They received the item they bought, they paid someone for it, they forget about it and just go on with their day.
If you ever bought something on eBay and it was delivered from your local Walmart, now you know what really happened. Triangulation fraud is just one of many ways they use the stolen card data, though. They have to be careful to use that card data without setting off fraud detection. That part is getting tougher and tougher every year. Right here, we're looking at a commercial Antidetect platform. They can create a profile to match the card holders. Wherever they want to use that card, Amazon payments on a Samsung mobile device, say they want their traffic coming out of T-Mobile's cellular network in New York City, or a Windows desktop build with the traffic routed through Cox Communications in Florida. And build that profile, launch it. We'll take a look at a third-party OSINT site, whoreip.com. See, they can set whatever hardware fingerprint, whatever software fingerprint, route that traffic however they want through whatever ISP in whatever location. It matches the exact specs, and it doesn't show up as a VPN or proxy or anything that would set off fraud detection when they go on a spending spree with that new card data that just popped into their Telegram channel. Magecart really is a simple concept, and yet it's been effective at scale for payment card compromise for a decade now. Remember that padlock icon in your browser shows that your session to the web server is encrypted, but
It doesn't mean you haven't been jugged by client-side code running in your own browser.
Behind the surface, follow the chain from initial access to lasting pain. With detective lock, the signal's clear. Breaking it down logically here. Process injection, deep in scripts. Toolbox and cover, operator slips and playbooks.